no longer to. Yesterday gave us the official results of the election in the United States. And then all of us, and I believe the peso to dollar exchange rate immediately reacted, Mr.
58.
President. Is that correct?
Yes, it did.
It did. So that's
The
why
dollar
that's why
strengthened.
that's why I asked that, because in making the budget, we made some assumptions, and one of the assumptions would be the foreign exchange rate. Ang sabi sa President's report, the President's budget message, we are assuming the Philippine to US dollar in 2025 to range from 55 to 58. So how was it? How was it yesterday immediately after the results of the US election?
Mr. President, for now, normally we really look at the entire year average, not just on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
For now, we're still at 58, below 58.
If we average it, but just for our information, what happened yesterday? How did the peso react to the dollar after the victory of Trump,
58.7.
President? How was that? What was the 58.83? Okay. So 58. But if the peso further deteriorates against the US dollar, what would be our anticipated effect on the 2025 budget, and how should we defend against such an event, Mr. President?
For every peso depreciation, Mr. President, there's an 11.3 billion additional revenue and a disbursement of 3.9 billion and a budget balance of 7.4 billion.
In
Peso depreciates, we collect more revenues with the Bureau of Customs.
Okay, but that's from the point of view of the government revenues, and I understand that since we're talking about the budget, our resource persons will limit themselves to government revenues. But how does it affect our people? Hindi ba the cost of living will also be more expensive?
Uh, Of course, with the depreciation of the peso, there is also an effect because we import a lot of
A
goods
lot of things, yeah.
and the cost will be a little higher. But Mr. President, also let's not forget that the buying power also, some of our citizens, countrymen who are dependent on OFW remittances will be encouraged to spend more also because of the favorable exchange rate on their part. But of course, there's always the pro and the con, and for us, it's a matter of making having all these contingencies in place.
The GDP is composed of four basic elements: domestic consumption, government spending, investments, and then net exports. Or are we? Do we? This is a fourth category. Are we positive with net exports? What is the in our GDP equation? Is it a positive or a negative?
We have a trade deficit. That's not surprising. A current account deficit and a balance of payment surplus. In layman's terms, there's still more dollars coming in than going out.
Can we
Increases our gross national reserves.
and the dollar
That increases our gross national reserves.
and the dollars can come from remittances and of course loans. Tama?